Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, or if you're new, welcome. My name is Crystal. Today I decided that I wanted to share something with you guys that I don't really talk about that often. I only talk about it with my close family. I don't even know if I'm gonna make sense, so I'm just gonna talk. I wanted to share my experience with mental health. I know that this is a big stigma for people. A lot of people feel super uncomfortable talking about it, and not a lot of people really understand it. So I wanted to come on here and share my experience because I want to be able to help somebody, even if it's just like one person. I feel like it needs to be talked about because I feel like it's not talked about enough. To a lot of people, it's kind of like, you know, a lot of people don't think it's real, but it is so real. So I wanted to come on here to maybe help somebody that doesn't understand it, try to understand it, and also help those who are going through what I'm going through. It's kind of comforting to have somebody that, which sounds kind of weird, but it's true, to have somebody that understands what you're going through and that knows what it's like, because I know sometimes it can feel like you're alone in this, but I promise you're not. There's a lot of people that battle with mental health, and I think it's really important for us to be talking about it. I want to say that this goes back in high school. I think I was about 18. I was a senior in high school. The first time that I actually had a panic attack was senior presentations were coming up, and I hate presenting. Like, I freak out, but once I'm up there I feel like I'm comfortable. Once I start talking, I'm like good. But this time, this was a huge presentation. You either pass or fail, and I think that's what was freaking me out. So I was practicing a lot. I was practicing with my friends and family just so that I could try to get comfortable and that I knew what I was gonna say when I got up there. And literally the entire week up until the presentation, I was so nervous. I was like, I really don't want to do this, but obviously I have to. It's the senior presentation. I was in a class, I think it could have been my advisory. We were all practicing our senior presentations just so that, you know, we get feedback from the teacher, from the students. It'll help us to prepare for the senior presentation. It was almost my time to present. There was like 3 people ahead of me. This was just practice. This wasn't the actual presentation. And I remember I started feeling like super weird. I couldn't explain it to anybody, and I just kind of went mute. I started feeling really sick. I went to the nurse's office and I kind of just explained how I was feeling, and I was like, I don't know, out of nowhere I just kind of felt like I was sick. And she told me that I could call somebody to go home. I didn't have a car at that time, so I couldn't drive. The nurse was like, yeah, you can go home, call somebody, and then you're free to go. So I called my neighbor and she came to pick me up, and I remember the whole car ride she tried to talk to me, but I literally, like, no words were coming out, and I felt so bad. And I just felt like I was being so rude, but it's not like I meant to. The words just did not want to come out. And I remember her driving and she asked me about my presentation. She was like, are you ready for your presentation? And when she asked me that, my mouth started watering up. I started producing excessive saliva, and I felt like I couldn't talk. Like, I tried to talk to her, but I couldn't. Like, words just didn't come out. And I remember her pulling over because she was like, are you gonna throw up? Like, are you okay? And I literally couldn't talk. I was trying to talk, but I couldn't. And my tongue went numb and I started freaking out. I thought I was dying. Like, I thought I was gonna die. She was like, oh my god, what's going on? And I was just like, I don't know what the hell's going on. Then I opened the door because I felt like I was gonna throw up. I threw my head down out the door, pivoted forward. Nothing came out, but my tongue was numb, and I felt like my heart was beating so fast and my chest felt super heavy, and I was super confused. I was like, what just happened? Because in that moment my mind was telling me that I was gonna die. I didn't even know how to explain it. It happened for like maybe 10 to like 20 seconds, and I remember just shaking. Like, I didn't know what to feel. I didn't know what to do, and I was just shaking. And she's like, are you okay? What just happened? And I was freaked out because I was like, I literally don't know. She tried to like get me to talk, but after that I literally just went blank. It's kind of like I blacked out, and I just thought it was kind of something that happened because I was nervous about the presentation, which I'm sure triggered it. My mom thought, I don't know what my mom thought. She didn't really know what was going on, but she told me to go to the store and get 7-Up. I don't know why. Like, I'm Hispanic. When Hispanic moms think that you're like sick or whatever, they try to give you a vaporu. 7-Up. And what's the other thing? Yeah, she was like, just go to the store and get 7-Up. Maybe you're getting sick or something. So I was like, okay. So I went to the store, got 7-Up, and I literally chugged the whole bottle because I thought that was gonna help me. But the whole day I felt like super drained, like the life had been sucked out of me. I was terrified because I was like, what if this happens again? After that happened, I felt like I was more aware of my surroundings, and I would get jittery in like certain situations, like presenting and stuff like that. So that happened. That was my first experience. I kept getting them after, and then the third time was actually at my workplace. My panic attacks are not always triggered by something, but sometimes they are triggered by something. And I remember I was at my workplace and I was uncomfortable with somebody there, one of my coworkers, and I remember going to tell my assistant manager, but I was kind of freaking out because I'm not like, I'm the type of person that does not like to stir up drama. I just kind of like to leave things alone, and I kind of will expect them to go away by themselves, which is not always a good thing. I don't recommend that. If there's a situation that's really bad, I feel like you should talk about it with somebody. So that's what I did. I went up to assistant manager. I remember I was on my way to clock out for my lunch break, and the assistant manager was in the office by herself. So I thought to myself, this is the perfect time to tell her I really need to get it off my chest. I kind of told her, I was like, hey, I really need to tell you something. I need to talk to you about something that I've been super uncomfortable about. And she looked at me and she was like, is it about your family? Is your family okay? And I was like, no, yeah, my family's fine. And like out of nowhere, you guys, oh my god, I feel like I want to cry. I remember looking at her and I kind of just froze, and she was like, are you okay? And I just like broke down crying. I don't know why. I literally broke down crying, and I felt the same feeling. I was like, holy crap, I'm about to have a panic attack. And I started bawling my eyes. I started choking, and she didn't know what to do, and I felt so bad. She's like, is there somebody that I need to call? Do I need to get you something? And I literally couldn't talk. I ran out of the office and I ran into the bathroom, and I remember just holding my throat because I couldn't breathe, and I really had to calm myself down. Something that I do though is I'll kind of massage this part of my hand. I don't know why it calms me down, or sometimes I'll do it here, and I think it's because those were like pressure points. And I started having a panic attack at work, and that was freaking me out because I thought to myself, oh my god, what if somebody saw? I feel so bad, and I was super embarrassed. And I just remember holding my throat and I couldn't breathe, and she came onto the bathroom and she was knocking, and I remember just wanting to like leave. I just wanted to go home. And she actually told me that I could go home for the rest of the day. I talked to her about my problem the next day because I couldn't do it right then and there. I remember going home and just bawling my eyes out because I didn't know why this was happening to me. I didn't understand it. I didn't know why I was getting these. It kind of just happened out of nowhere, and I felt confused. I felt like nobody understood me, and I felt alone. But I remember I didn't want to go back to work the next day, and I felt super embarrassed because I felt like assistant manager probably thought that I was overreacting. But I went back to work the next day and she was super understanding, and she just kind of asked me like what happened, and I told her that I experienced panic attacks. But I think it was kind of triggered by the topic, I guess. And that's the third time that it happened. The fourth time that it happened, I think this is actually the last one that I had. I haven't had one in a really long time, which I'm so happy about. I went out with my boyfriend, his sister, and a couple of other friends. And I remember we went into a really nice restaurant. It was kind of fancy, and like, I feel super out of place when I'm in fancy restaurants. I don't know why, that's just how I am. We were just going out for dinner. Right when I walked in, the lights were super dim. It was kind of like a romantic kind of setting. The lights were super dim. That's all I really remember. I remember walking in and our waiter was sitting us down, and I was sitting next to my boyfriend. I remember just focusing on the lighting. Time goes by, we get an appetizer, and we're all just talking, having a really good time. I was having a great time. I started getting hot, and then I started getting cold. And I remember sweating, and I was like, why am I sweating like this? I remember my boyfriend was talking to me, and my vision was going kind of blurry. You know when like everything around you feels like it's going slow, kind of like in the movies? Well, that's kind of what was happening to me. I could hear his voice, but I was kind of like, it felt like I was in a tunnel, and I kept looking at the ceiling because of the lighting, and I was like, it's so dark in here. And I remember just kind of having like this feeling where I was gonna have another panic attack. So it felt like everything was going dark, and my boyfriend kept asking, are you okay, are you okay? And then right when he asked me that, I started freaking out. And I remember my throat closing up again. I was salivating a lot, my tongue went numb, and then something new that happened was my legs went numb. I literally could not feel my legs, and I thought I was gonna die. I thought I was gonna have a stroke, or I was gonna have a heart attack or something. And I thought to myself, holy crap, I am not gonna get to see another day. And I thought I was dying, and I started bawling my eyes out. I literally ran out of the restaurant, and I was kind of tumbling because my legs were numb and I couldn't feel them. And I remember my boyfriend running after me, and he was like, are you okay? He's like, how are you feeling? Because at this point he already knew that I struggled with panic attacks. My boyfriend's sister came out and she got me water, and she was like, are you okay? I felt so embarrassed because like people probably thought that I was overreacting, or that I was trying to be the center of attention or something, and literally the idea of that was freaking me out even more. I just felt super embarrassed. I didn't know what to do. I didn't want to go back inside, so I had to wait a little bit, and I was embarrassed to go back inside because I was like, all these people in this restaurant watched me run out of the restaurant thinking that I'm like a crazy person, and I just felt like nobody understood me. But I knew that wasn't the case. I knew they didn't want to draw attention to me. They were being super sweet. I feel like everybody was super understanding, but in the back of my head I was like, they're probably judging me. I calmed down and I went back inside, and I just kind of ate, and then I paid, and then we left. And I remember just getting in the car and I literally bawled my eyes out because I felt so bad. I felt super bad because I felt like I had ruined everybody's day, but then I had to tell myself that not everybody experiences this, and it's okay for people not to know. But I think that a lot of people should get educated on it, just in case you have a family member that goes through it, or a random person. It doesn't matter. I feel like everybody should get educated on mental health. 1 in 4 people actually battle with mental health, which is a lot of people, and I feel like it's really important for us to talk about it. That's pretty much my experience with panic attacks. You don't want to be around people. It kind of makes you feel like you just want to be alone, but you don't want to be lonely, if that makes any sense. I do have anxiety and I suffer from panic attacks. I'm so grateful that I have not had one in a really long time. I really try to take care of myself and just make sure that my health comes first. I know that a lot of people feel uncomfortable talking about topics like this. I wanted to make this video and I wanted to share my experience because I feel like it needs to be talked about more, and hopefully I could help somebody out there that doesn't fully understand it, or somebody that does experience panic attacks. I want you guys to know that if you are suffering from this, or you're battling with panic attacks, you are not alone. There's a lot of people that experience it. If you need help, please seek out help. Things will get better. In a way, I feel like there's a reason why I'm experiencing this, and I feel like it's my duty to talk about it and to try to help people that do suffer from it. I feel like it's really important for us to come together and talk about this. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye.